So in this video, we're going to take a deeper dive into some of the tools built into Numbers and what you can use those for to actually teach a lesson. So I have a sample lesson document here that I created that simply has 5 tabs across the top. So this first tab actually is a bunch of text boxes. This is literally a box where there's some text inserted into here and just uses some of the text tools that are built in typically into the format menu to be able to control what that stuff looks like. There is also an audio recording in here. This is what is called a image gallery, where I can go through and have multiple images in here, and you can have captions below that. I have a simple flowchart that I made. I embedded a YouTube video within my lesson. I have some handwritten notes, and then this is actually a PDF homework assignment that has been embedded into this document. So all of this happens right here within my Numbers document. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what these tools are and how you actually create these. So I'm going to go back to my spreadsheets here and create a new one to get started. And I'm going to just start with a blank spreadsheet. And so again, I'm going to click on my main table here and delete. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to first of all name this, and I'm going to call this blank lesson. And I'm going to go ahead and tap on these 3 dots, and I'm going to do an export, and I'm going to go ahead and save it as a Numbers template. And what this is going to do is this gives me the ability to add this to my template chooser. So now from here on out, anytime I choose to add something to it, I actually already have a template called blank lesson that has that table removed already, so I don't have to start and delete that table every single time. Just a way to save some time. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add some things to this document. So I'm not really going to focus on the ability to do tables and spreadsheets. I'll save that for another video. But most of the things I'm going to talk about are within these last 2 options here under the plus sign. So the first has to do with text. I can insert text just like you would expect. It's a text box. I can move it around and double tap inside of it to be able to add my text. Now, the beauty of text boxes is that I can have as many different text boxes as I want. So once I make a text box and I've gone into my formatting options here, and maybe I've given it some color options, or changed things or tweaked things to make it look exactly the way I want, I can actually tap with my finger and tell it to do a copy, tap on some empty space, and then do a paste. And then I can reuse this title over and over again. And you can have as many text boxes as you want on a page. I could keep adding more of them and then rearrange and organize them however I want to lay out my my document. So text boxes are very flexible, and it's not like a Word document where you're going to have issues with like not having things wrap around images the right way. You literally can put them anywhere you want. Again, blank canvas. Now, if I also wanted to, I can add shapes. So let's say I wanted to make a flowchart. I'm going to make a new sheet here, and I'm going to just call this sheet flowchart. Again, delete my table. And I'm going to go ahead and add some shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and add a rectangle here with some rounded corners, resize it the way I want. The really cool thing about shapes is I can simply double click inside of any shape and it automatically has a text box in it. So this might be my main idea. Now again, I could tap on that and do a copy and paste if I'm happy with that, or I could go ahead and simply recreate it. So I'll go ahead and make a new one, and I'm going to resize this one, and again, format, make it a different color, and this is my subtopic. And then again, I want all my subtopics to look the same, so I'm going to go ahead and just tap on them and then do a copy, and then tap on some empty space and then do a paste, tap on some empty space again and do another paste. So now I have 3 topics, subtopics, etc. Now, I said I wanted to make a flowchart, and so if I wanted to do something with flowcharts, then I need to somehow connect these things together. So in order to best do that, what I like to do is, again, in my plus sign, in the same shape tools where I have these shape options, I have some straight line tools, but this one right here is actually a connector. And so what this one does is if I choose this tool, this gives me 3 dots. The first dot, I can just move until it touches something, and it'll kind of snap right to it. I can click on the next dot and move that to tap on whatever I want, and it snaps to that. And then this green dot allows me to control the curve and the look essentially of how that's going to work. Now, once these two things are connected, I can move this anywhere I want, and it is going to maintain that connection. So even if I decide to rearrange my flowchart later, it will keep that connection together. So if you're familiar with a tool we used to use back in the day called Inspiration, it has a very much an Inspiration-like feel to it. Again, just click and drag to snap them to it. And again, plus sign, add the shape. I can put it anywhere I want. But again, click on the ends to make them snap to something and adjust it which way it goes from there. So really cool, easy way to do some flow charting or main ideas, concept maps, those kinds of things. So I'm going to make another new sheet here. Delete my table. Hit the plus sign. And this time I am going to switch over to my last option in my plus options, which is my photo and video option. Or you might want to call it a media option. So it has the ability to insert photos and videos. You can insert those directly from your photo library. Same thing. You can open up the camera app and take a picture. Works the way you would expect. Nothing too shocking there. If I hit that button again and I go to record audio, I have a full-featured audio recording tool built into Numbers, which is kind of crazy for a spreadsheet app. But I can go ahead and hit record, and this will record my voice saying whatever it is that I want to say, and then stop. Now, if I have this recording in here, I could preview it, listen to it back, but there's actually an edit button here that I can actually go back and edit. And it gives me these little green lines, and if I click on these dots here, I can actually cut parts of it out. So, for example, I have a cough here at the end. I could actually cut out that cough and tell it to do a trim, and it would go ahead and trim that part out. And then I could hit record again and continually add things to it if I want. I also can just delete that recording and start over if I need to. But it's got a lot of really cool tools, and then when I'm happy with the recording, I hit insert, and then that audio recording shows up right here. Now, if I wanted to, I could pair that with some text by going over here to my text box tool and give it a label if I want. So I could say something like, click here for narration or something along those lines, and I can adjust this however I want, just like that. So it does really cool audio recordings built into it. Now, another tool it has is the ability to do web videos. Web videos are simply URLs that you're putting into your document. So I have a YouTube video I've saved here that I'm going to go ahead and paste that link right into it. Here it is. I can go ahead and hit insert, and it's going to insert that video right into it. Now, just like everything else in Numbers, if I tap on it and go to my formatting options, I have a few options on what this is going to look like. So I can give this video a title or caption if I want, which is going to give me a spot to choose to add a title at the top or the bottom, so I can give them some directions in there if I need to. And then I also have some arrange options. And again, it can be moved, narrated, adjusted, just like anything else. I can rearrange it. I can resize it by clicking on the corners, just like I would an image. And so on. So a really easy way to insert videos right into your lesson. Now, an image gallery is kind of like a slideshow. So what this does is this allows me to hit this plus sign here, and I could either take photos from my photo library, or I could take photos and it would insert them in a format like that. So if I wanted to and said, hey, I have some images here, I'm going to go ahead and put some of these pictures in here and hit add. These pictures get added, and I have the ability down here to actually add a caption underneath each picture. And when the viewer looks at it, they can go ahead and tap on these arrows or actually swipe through it, and they can go back and forth to see all of the images in there. So instead of filling up your entire lesson or your entire page with tons of images, you can actually put a little mini slideshow right here on top of it. And again, as you would expect, I can click on it and then go to my formatting options, and I could give it title captions, control whether it has individual captions, and I could even manage these images, add more, delete them if I wanted to. Again, I have the same arrange options I had for my videos. So That's what's called an image gallery. Now, I can also insert things from just about anything on my computer. So if I had other documents like maybe PDF files or things like that, I can insert those really easily. Or I can actually go back and insert things from Google Drive. I can insert things from iCloud Drive, things that I have saved to my Files app. I could link those things and put those things right here into my page if I want to. So this is my Google Drive here. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and pick and choose to be able to put things in here. Now, it will not let you add Google Docs. It will let you add PDF files and things that exist in your Google Drive. Movie files are fine, but it won't let you put doc sheets or slides in here by default. But there is a workaround for that. So if I wanted to insert a PDF, I would simply tap on my PDF and it's going to insert it in here just like that. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and tap on that PDF and I'm going to cut it and I'm going to make a new sheet here, get rid of my table and paste my PDF back in here. So here it is. Come back to that in a minute. Now, I said I wanted to maybe add a link to a Google Doc. I can do that by simply adding some text. So let's say I wanted to add a text box. I could go ahead and add some text. Move this text over here, and I'll make this a link to a Google Doc. Now, if I wanted to do that, what I need to do is I need to go into my Drive, and I find a sheet, a slide, or something that I've created that I want to be able to share with other people. Then what I can do is simply find that document, whatever that document is, and I could go ahead and right-click on that document, and I could say Get Link. And when I do that, it's going to get a link or show me a link to that document. I can tell it to copy that link, and I just need to make sure that the people who have access to it have permission. So if I wanted anyone in the district to be able to open it or anyone with the link to be able to open it, I just need to make sure I've set those permissions the right way so that they can view it. But when I go ahead and tell it to copy that link, now I can go back into my notes file here, and here's my text box. I can highlight my text that I've created here. And if I tap and hold on my text box, I'll get a whole option that gives me cut, copy, paste, things like that. I'm going to go ahead and do a link, and it's going to give me the ability to paste whatever link I have in there. So I can go ahead and paste that link to my Google Doc right into it. Now, I can choose whether it's going to be a link to a web page, an email, a phone number, or a sheet. Because this is a touchscreen device, if this was a phone number and this was doing this on an iPhone, it would actually be able to call that phone number and so on. But in this case, I just want a website. So now this is a link. Now, right now, when I click on it, it goes to edit it. We'll talk about that here in a second. But this is now a link to a Google Doc. Now, next tool, if I hit my plus sign, and this last option over here, and this is probably my favorite, and this is the ability to do drawing. So when I hit drawing, what this does is this gives me a toolbar down here with a whole bunch of drawing tools. Now I can tap on that toolbar and drag it around and actually reposition it anywhere I want, and it'll actually shrink it up. I can move it on one side or the other, and I can position this however I want. A little update on what some of these tools are. This tool here is a new tool that came in iOS 14. This is a handwriting recognition tool. A lot of people think this is a pen tool, but what this actually does is if I use that tool and I simply started writing somewhere on my document, and then wait a second, it will actually convert that written text into live editable text that I could go in and change if I wanted to. So that's what that first tool does if you want that to happen. Some people like the handwritten text. They don't want the type to text instead. So when I open up my drawing tools, the second tool here is my writing tool. This is what I'm going to use to do some writing with. Now, if I tap on that tool again, I have the ability to adjust the opacity of that tool. And then I can also control the thickness. So by default, this is a little thick for me. I also like writing with black, but I could go ahead and simply control the size of that and go from there. I can use this to write on top of other things on my slide. So I have my PDF that's over here, and maybe I want to do some highlighting. I might switch on my marker tool and switch it to yellow and simply tap on it, make it really thick, and just turn my opacity down a little bit. And then I can come over here and I can be highlighting things that are on a PDF document that is right here within my numbers spreadsheet, which is crazy that all this is happening on there at one time. This is a fill tool that allows you to fill inside of closed shapes. This is an eraser tool. And this right here is actually a selection tool. If I actually click and drag around something, it'll select just that one part that I could move it around. I could delete it, copy, paste, whatever it is that I want. So some really cool options in these drawing tools. And again, if the toolbar is in your way, you can move it around, or you can actually tap on these three dots and you can tell it to auto minimize, which means it'll always stay out of the way until I tap on it to change a tool, and then tap off of it and it goes back away again. So some pretty cool drawing tools that are built right in here. Now, everything that we've done so far in Numbers has been done in the edit mode of Numbers. So I have all these different sheets here that I've created with things, and if I wanted to edit one of these, all I literally have to do is click on it and I can make changes to it. But up here in the upper right hand corner, I actually have a presentation or preview mode. And this is what is if I wanted to take this Numbers document and actually present with it. So maybe I've gone on my computer and I've created my entire lesson and prepared everything up front, and now I'm ready to actually use it to teach with. Well, I can simply open this up on my iPad and hit this little button, and now I am in essentially a presentation mode. From here, if I clicked on things, nothing happens. I can't move these things around anymore because now it is like a PDF, or essentially a preview of or presentation of what I have going. I can always click edit and go back into it and make changes if I need to, but once I'm in this preview mode, the toolbars go away, it simplifies everything. And the beauty of that is that things that were set to be links, things that were videos, all of these now work. So here I am with my image gallery that I can go ahead and click through to see the different images in. Here's my YouTube video. I can go ahead and tap on that. It plays right here in place. And then I can go ahead and click on my narration, and it's going to play that as well. And I can pause and stop, and again, it won't accidentally delete or accidentally move them around. If I need to edit, I can just click on edit and I'm right back into it. Same is also true with links. So I made a link to a Google Doc. This could be a link to anything, any website, anywhere. And all I have to do is tap on it, and it's going to take me to either my browser or my default app that I have to open these documents. And now I can go ahead and open that right into my Google Docs app here, and then be able to access it that way. So that is Numbers, which again sounds like a spreadsheet app, but really it can do just about anything you want it to do and can be an awesome tool to teach lessons with.